How do you know
Hello?
about it?
Hello?
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 I'm assuming my mic doesn't work. My mic don't sound nice. Check one. Well, let's go to 347. 347, you're on the air. Talk to me.
This is a nice call here.
347-621, caller. You're on the air. Talk to me.
So you hung up on me early, which I'm trying to figure out. Why would you hang up? Why would you do a show like this and then hang
Because
up?
let me tell you something. You see that even that white boy who just talked to me, or whoever he was, he didn't get hung up on because he actually spoke with respect, even though he was being silly. We spoke
I
with
didn't cuss
respect.
at you. You cussed at me. I didn't cuss at you.
Because what you didn't do,
I was asking questions. I was asking tough questions, but I didn't.
You weren't asking a tough question. You weren't asking a tough question.
Sound tough.
I didn't sound tough. Let me tell you something. Again, that white boy had enough respect. When I responded, he listened, and that's all I asked you to do.
And I was.
No, you
all right,
weren't.
I'm listening now. I was listening before.
No, you weren't. I had to stop you. No, you were not. I had to stop you when I started giving you an answer. Oh, so why is it that every time you answer a question with a question? That was you.
Calm down, BT.
So if you like to do it like he did it, since you just saw it, an individual who kept asking me the tough questions, and we still had a discussion, sir. If you'd like to learn from that and do that, we can finish. If you don't, then we won't. Because if I just hung up on you then, once you told me you hung up on me, I would have hung up on you again, wouldn't I? But I'm trying to talk to you and anyone else to the point of where I'm kicking off people who keep saying nice shit to me so I can talk to y'all. Now go ahead with your tough questions and I'll answer them, but please accept my answer when I give it to you, or be respectful while we have dialogue and debate. That's all I ask.
Okay, can I have one ground rule of my, well, not ground rule because it's your show, but can I have one request of you?
Sure.
If I ask you a question, can you just answer the question directly without asking me a question? Like if this is, you said this
add
is
an
a trial of
analogies.
you, right? So you're on cross-examination. You don't get to ask the lawyer questions when they're cross-examining you. So I think that's what threw off our conversation. Like when I asked you, and I know this
Yes.
is a debate.
I was about to say, it's a difference
like
though.
when you're
But there's a difference. I'm not on trial, number one.
But you...
Number two, you've watched me several of
What's
I know, but I'm
the
saying, no, that's why I said number two. Number two, you've watched me for years. If someone asks a question that I think answers itself, I then give them a question. Because your question answers itself. So I just give you a question saying, okay, if you're not going to see what you just said, well, what would you do in this situation? Because that's why I speak of logic and truth. Because if it is logical, then it will fit in more than one situation. That's what logic is. I've been saying this for years. So if people do it to me, I'd understand. If I say something that just seems like it answers itself, I don't mind answering their question. Because I know what they're trying to do at that point. And if I can logically show that my answer would be the same in this situation and that situation, then it is logic.
He does not
But
sound
go
like
ahead.
a woman.
I will try not to, though, sir.
All right, well,
So try not to ask me questions that the answer is in the question. But that's a fair thing you ask. Go ahead.
Doesn't sound white to me either.
I'm sorry to catch that last part.
Oh, I just said that's a fair thing you ask. Go ahead, but try not to ask me questions like that other guy said. Or maybe it might have been you who said, I can't remember which one it was, who said, do you think it went off well? It's a stupid ass question when you see I'm making videos showing that it didn't. Like, I'm sorry, that's a dumb question.
Well, I don't know. All right, we agreed. I didn't think it was a dumb question. I mean, I think it's a fair question, but I mean, and then even if it is a dumb question, it's a simple answer. But
if a team loses by 40 and I'm sorry, maybe you haven't watched, and there I go again with examples, but maybe you don't watch enough sports. If that team loses by 40 points and somebody in the audience says, you think your team played well, what does the coach usually do to that damn question? Seriously. Or what does the player usually do to that question? Come on, man.
Well, actually, no. Well, actually, that wasn't my question, though. But I actually asked a different question, but that's fine. That wasn't actually my question. I had
Go ahead.
But all right. So I think where I was going before was I was wondering, if these things, if you sort of keep finding yourself in these positions, do you think that maybe this has to do with how you operate on some level? Maybe there's something that you perhaps do a little bit differently.
Yep. Just like if I keep dating chicks who ain't shit, I've always said that it's me.
So what would that be? What do you think you could do differently?
Well, every day I'm trying to learn to do something differently. That's why I know when I do my next project, and I
No,
explain it to
every
people on this one. When I do my next project, I understand how it works now, and I know who to hire. You have to remember, I had never done anything like this, and I thank the people who gave me a chance to try. They gave me a chance to try something I'd never done.
You didn't do this, though. Someone else.
Wait, what you referring to
all
with
of
the
this
Fall
up.
of America or something else?
Yes. They gave me an opportunity to try something I'd never done.
But see, I also think part of the backlash you get is because, you know, and I give you credit because you do these shows where you ask to be held accountable. It doesn't always go smoothly when you ask that, but
Facts.
I think part of the reason too is that there is a little bit of deflecting and stuff that goes on, rather than just say, look, like what you just said now. You know, I think that's something that I think a lot more people would accept, rather than, because I think
Brother, they would not. These same people. Hold on, wait. Oh no, let me stop you there. When you said that, no, they won't, man. You got people that sitting up there talking about my mom and she didn't do shit. You got people that sit up there, even if I got 99 kids, they still sit up there and bringing the kids' faces and names out into the public. Because if those kids were ashamed of me and they didn't want to have anything to do with me, and they didn't want people to know that I was their daddy, why would strangers go out and tell people that these kids who are wanting to be hidden from me because I'm such a bad person, why would these people do that? So you can't say that if I said something that might have sounded right, these people give me credit, because they didn't give me credit when I just sit up here and gave all these people their money back. They didn't give me credit for that.
Because then you turned around and
You
complained about
always
it.
gonna have detractors, man.
Huh?
You always gonna have detractors, but reasonable people. You always gonna have detractors and critics, but reasonable people would not. I don't think would really beef with you if you get. Because let me give you an example.
But name some reasonable. Wait. Can you do me a favor? I'm glad you said that. Can you do me a favor and name some reasonable people who are currently beefing with me?
Candy
That would be great.
Do you have reasonable people currently beefing with you?
Yes, you said because reasonable people would understand this. So I was like, yes, please show me some of these reasonable people that are currently beefing with me. Name one reasonable person that got beef with me.
Candy Manning.
You mean YouTube personalities you want me to
Yes, sir, because that's all I've run into. All this stuff is coming from YouTube personalities, not real life. Real life people aren't coming at me like this.
I'm thinking more just the public, because I think you do have a negative image publicly about the film. Because let me give you an example where I think you could be more accountable. Like when that guy asked you about the film, you know, and I've heard you do this before. You get into this whole thing where you say, "Well, did you pay for it? If you didn't pay for it, why are you asking? If the girl didn't get raped, if the girl that got raped didn't." Like to me,
bogus
analysis. But that was wait. Hold on a second. That was after I had been talking. Wait a second.
Analogies to the extreme and then excuses to follow.
Hold on, but that was after I had been talking to him for 15 minutes and had answered his questions. If you keep asking me questions, do you not understand that if I've been answering your questions and you keep asking me follow-up questions, at that point, I'd have the right to say, why does it matter so much to you? Because if I've answered your question and you keep asking me more questions, it's like if someone asks you if you gay and you say no, and then they say, well, if you ain't gay, then why'd you do this?
Wasn't the purpose of this show to answer any and all questions? It didn't say I'm going to answer any and all questions, but if you ask me too many questions, then I'm going to play professional victim. That's not what the show titling is. It's just
you say because I did this, and then they say, but a straight person wouldn't do that. And then why would you be wrong for saying, dude, why does it matter to you if I'm gay or not? I'm not sleeping with you and I'm not hitting on you.
Let me say two things in response. One, I think I've heard enough interactions with you on the phone with people who are asking you about the film to know that whether people start to pick at you or not, that is a common way that you take the conversation. And I'm just saying,
because it's old.
You can disagree with me or not.
No, because it's old.
Yeah,
if I'm on my show, if I'm on my show and we're talking about kids missing, and you call in and say, "What's up with the movie?" Do you think you really give a shit, or am I being trolled right now, sir?
But that's not what this show is about. It's about any and all scams, and you often deflect, like you're doing right now.
Seriously, I'm on my show and I'm talking about,
But that negates what you're saying. You were saying that the reason you did that to the guy just now on the phone was because he was picking at you.
Hold on, yes, because this was the show. Right, because that's what this show was about. It was open that he can talk about it. So when I keep answering your questions and you keep following up with other questions saying you don't believe me, I now have the right to say, why the fuck does it matter to you so much now? Because if you're going to keep insisting it's a scam, then I probably owe you money.
But I personally, I don't want to stay too much on this issue, but I've personally seen you take that approach with a lot of people, no matter what approach they ask, no matter what fashion they ask the question in. Yeah. I've seen you resort to that whole "why does it matter to you" thing, and I just personally, if you want to be held accountable, because if you think about it,
I don't want to be held accountable. I actually want to be left alone.
It's true.
I don't want to be held accountable. Honestly, I don't.
Leave me alone, Tommy.
That form of answering the question, you couldn't ask a big time person a question and they would do that. You can't ask.
You actually could. I saw an interview. You actually could. I saw an interview where Scarlett Johansson got mad at this dude for doing the exact same thing, and she said, "Am I?"
No, I said a president. She's an actress.
Oh Jesus Christ! I'm not a president. Are you trying to tell me I'm a president now? I'm on the same level as a president?
No, what I'm saying is you want to be taken seriously. But you want to be taken seriously as a business person. What I'm saying is,
same as that actress. Same as that actress.
What I'm saying is, if you want to be, I don't know, me, I just, listen, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying, we're both in our.
But don't compare me to a president, but then tell me I can't be compared to an actress. Come on, dude.
But, I mean, actresses can be airheads, bro. Come on. You can't put, I mean.
And so can you, sir, and so can YouTubers. You see them going after me. And that's all I am, is a YouTuber.
All I'm saying is, to me, I think you have great potential. I would like to see you.
A YouTuber, a therapist, a comedian. Like, when people call you on things, then you take on these other roles. Now you're just going to resort to being just a simple YouTuber. Get the fuck out of here.
Held to a greater standard. And there's certain people.
A greater standard than what? Do you understand? I'm being held to a higher standard than.
You let me finish my
No, because you keep saying words and then want to keep talking past them. Hold on. You said you hope that I can be held to a greater standard. So I'm asking you a question. Name a YouTuber who's been held to a higher standard than me.
So you want to be held to the same standards as the guy in Indianapolis?
No. I just simply asked you, name a YouTuber, period, that's held to a higher standard than the one I've been held to. You know, where your kids at, name one that's been held to a higher standard than me.
Well, let's use one of, I don't want to say names, so I don't know if you can get upset, but you have a rival in LA who's put out some documentaries about Black history. If he was to do certain things, he would take a lot of heat for it.
You mean like how Morus never came out? You mean like how those houses in Haiti never came out?
It came out. It just didn't go the way he wanted it, but it came out, and he was accountable for it.
How was he accountable for it?
I'm not gonna say he wasn't. He was.
How was he? Nobody's fucking with him about that. It didn't do what he said it was gonna do.
Yeah, but do you understand? He didn't answer questions the way you did. Like, that's the point I'm trying to.
He didn't answer it all. Hey, all the people in the audience can tell you, Tyreek actually has done that to people who ask him about what the fuck he's doing.
He's asked them whether they donated and why do you care.
Yes.
But wait, aren't you supposedly better? Isn't this what you fancy yourself to be better than him? So why would you imitate his behavior? It makes no sense.
The girl.
Yes.
No, he hasn't.
He's done. Not only has he done that, but when people who say, "Wait a minute, Tyreek, you are pro-black. Why do you keep calling this man crispy?" He go off on them for just asking them that question.
I agree with that. That is wrong. Well, actually, I've never seen him. I've seen him just lie about the whole crispy thing, but I've never seen him.
That's the point.
I've seen him.
And I said, but wait a minute. It ain't no bigger scam than that. When everybody black know you're lying, but because they like you and they don't like the other guy, they pretend you didn't.
So he got money.
But plenty of people hold Tariq accountable. If you go on YouTube, he probably has as much haters as you do, man. He ignores them more than you do, better than you do. But
he doesn't. There's a difference between someone questioning you, which I would understand, than what these people are doing. Because if I wasn't having this stuff attached to it, you wouldn't have such a short.
Tariq Nasheed has had the SWAT team come to his house. You have not.
Fuse like you have.
And you were doing an illegal raffle.
You have a man whose mom is being attacked. You have a man who loses his girlfriend because of these people. And then you're still telling me I shouldn't have a short fuse for him when they call in. Come on, man. You have a man whose whole life keeps being exposed. But I'm supposed to still be nice when they call me. I don't have to do that, man. And if you don't understand that,
I'm just saying.
if you don't understand, that would be a frustration.
When did I? No, I
said, why do you do it?
Put words in my mouth, bro.
No, because you said no. Apparently you don't, because you said, why do I do it? You asked me, why do I do it when I'm Go ahead.
No. We're getting off track. All I said to you was, when people ask you about this movie or any other thing that your name is attached to, I would just want to see you answer the question in a more stand-up way. That's all. Like, this whole, well, if you rape the girl and all that, to me, just answer the question in a more forthright way. That's all.
What's more forthright than me? What's more forthright than me now answering questions? Listen. What's more forthright than me giving people the ability to ask me about something that everyone's completely paid back about? Seriously, what's more forthright than that?
I just said, if they ask you a question about the product, just say to them, look, whether it's production delays or whatever, but I think you do yourself a disservice. You're free to tell me to...
But I have said that, and they keep on asking. Don't you understand how that would get irritating when I was just giving people updates? They just still kept fucking with me, man. How many times can you tell somebody you would get frustrated at your girlfriend if you kept telling her you did not go to the club last night, and she just keep asking you?
But let me take you down this road now. Now you're doing something that we criticize black women for doing, which is you're blaming people for making you less than who you are.
No, I don't owe them anything, sir. No, I'm not blaming them. I don't owe you if you didn't give me any money. That's what I'm saying. I'm tired of answering questions to people who didn't do anything. That is fair. Most people would understand that. If you didn't have anything to do with it, fuck you, I'm not answering it.
But you do, well, two things. Number one, you do open yourself up to you do subject yourself to the question.
Y'all see, he won't even acknowledge what I just said. He will not even acknowledge what I just said.
I get what you're saying. But when
we're going to keep answering questions from people who had nothing to do with it. Why don't you?
There's a difference between acknowledgement and acceptance, is in a sense, or agreeing. There's a difference between acknowledgement and agreeing. You want him to agree. Just say that. Instead of trying to mask it as if you're some type of victim. That won't work with us.
You wait until some people who had something to do with it say, hey, I went and asked the nigga and I had something to do with it and he wouldn't answer me either. Now that looks suspect.
Are you familiar with, but and here's another thing we have to clarify too, because I think you've pushed this concept before, and it's not, I don't agree with this concept because it's wrong. You're making it seem as, and I'm not accusing you of fraud, but fraud does not occur when you are directly, in other words, there's more than one type of fraud. Like you're making it seem like fraud is only when someone directly has come out of pocket for something. That's not true. You can fraud the market. You can take money in exchange for products and services, and you can still commit fraud whether or not that person has directly paid money.
What?
So I get what you're saying. When
whoa, explain that to my audience, please, because you just glossed over that, but that didn't make sense. Go ahead and try this again.
How did I not?
It seems to me like you think, because when you say to people, well, did you pay? Did you make the donation? It's almost suggesting that you can't be accused of fraud unless
it's almost no. Let's not play that. It's actually suggesting I don't owe you an answer.
But you owe the market, though.
I do not.
You owe the market.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
This was a private thing that people sent you money for. So you only owe them.
That's not true.
Well, for one thing, if you're crowdfunding, there are laws. There are SEC
Yes, so if I broke the law, you wouldn't ask me. So if I broke the law, you wouldn't ask me. You'd go to the people who would. Hey, let me check something. If you stole from my house, I'd go to the police.
Here we go with the house.
If it bothers you, please. I did answer your question, and then I gave an analogy after I answered your question. Please, sir.
But
no. If you're going to keep being, I told you what I was going to do, and I have respected you. I told you what I would do, and I have respected you. Whatever rules we set up at the beginning, I followed them. You still couldn't keep yourself from saying what I told you don't say to me again.
What did I say?
Guys, did he not just do what I told, what got him hung up on the first time?
What was that?
Here we go with the analogies again. Here we go with the analogies.
Oh, come on, Tommy. Come on, man.
What do you mean, come on? I told you don't do that again.
Oh wow.
If I tell you my house, you gotta take your shoes off to come in. Why the fuck would you come to my house again and be like, here we go with the shoes thing again? Like, seriously.
I apologize. Continue. I apologize.
You claim we're having a adult conversation as I answered your question before I gave the analogy.
I
literally answered it and then tried to give an analogy trying to say that, and it pissed you off then.
I'll apologize for a fourth time.
Maybe you should do for me.
Damn.
What you keep asking me to do for the public.
You can't
to be more of a stand-up guy.
Caller, you too much.
Now, stand-up guy would be someone who agrees to something that they would take their agreement seriously, right? Because that's what y'all keep coming at me with, right? It's funny how when y'all do it, it's okay. You didn't make a mistake. You can't stop yourself from trying to be combative in a way in which there's no reason. My analogy was not a bad one. That is being combative if I not only answered your question, but then tried to give you an example. It wasn't like I didn't answer your question. I literally answered it, and then I just tried to give you an example to bolster my answer. And that offended you.
All right. So are you going to continue, or?
Are you going to continue? Again, I've been very respectful. I tried to answer everything you've asked.
As have I. I apologize 4 times. I mean.
So you think that makes it better? Well, then I'll tell you. I'll say this. If that's all it takes. I apologize. I apologize for not having the movie out in a mannerable time. I apologize for not handling the crews the correct way and having to pay these people back for stuff. I apologize for not being a stand-up guy. I apologize for not having people trust me like they should or like you feel they should. Whoever. I apologize. Right here. Right now.
I commend you on that.
Great caller. Great caller.
I didn't mean to do anybody any harm. Have not tried to hurt anybody. That's why I try to make up for anything that I've ever done. Even though I've done good shit for people, none of you have ever recognized it. I spent a whole summer paying out of my own pocket, no donations. No.
Oh my God! Now here comes the Sullian. Oh.
God. Nothing. 5 different families.
He just has to
stuff that nobody in their own family would do. I got people running around right now, including Patrick, who they keep telling me it's you, but I don't know if it's you. But somebody I paid for them to stay in a hotel for 7 days in South Carolina out of my own fucking pocket so he could be there with his so-called sick grandma. I didn't get a dime back, but what I did get was this man going on YouTube talking crap about me. And why did I do it? Because I seen him inside of Soto Nation and somebody told me that this person needed help. And I did it because they were that was it. I've done it to several people just because they asked. But I've never gotten any fucking credit for it. I bailed a man out of jail and didn't make any more videos about it for a year and a half, even though he kept on talking shit about me.
Oh, wow.
I didn't try to clown and make no video and say, look at this. No, I didn't. Yet I still got no credit.
But, Thomas, why are you deviating from the titling? You're talking about everything but the titling. This guy has stayed on task. You know, not so much. No.
For it. It gets tiring to know that people can find your fault, but they will never find anything that you do well. When everything that I do that is positive, none of those people who are going at me has ever done. But they spend every day going after me. They haven't spent one day helping anybody. They haven't spent one day. Sir, do you understand? They haven't spent one day. The Canadian haven't spent one day. He don't have nobody that can say that. He don't have nobody from his group that can say, well, the nigga helped me pay my phone bill. Nigga helped me pay my light bill. Nigga kept me from whatever. He has not one person.
But he doesn't need
But
anybody.
I, the person that everybody hates, actually have people who you can say that to. Complete strangers who you watch me as I was live just hand them $300 out of my pocket because they were there and that's what I had. Do you understand when the pizza person comes to my house, the pizza person told me they fight over who delivers pizza to my house because I tip so well? Do you understand when I go out to a restaurant, I've shown people when I with the camera, that I'll go to a restaurant, them motherfuckers know me and will fight to see who waits on me. Do you understand that I don't have one girlfriend who I have dated that have been able to come out and say he is a piece of crap? Do you understand none of those baby mamas that they claim that I owe money from will come out and talk crap about me? So how does that make sense? But every day I gotta still deal
too.
with this crap, and not one person tell me, yeah, he ain't that bad of a guy that we gotta ruin his life.
Well, I get all that. I was trying to, I just made a couple of, I was just trying to make a couple of simple points. That's all. The main point that I was making was when people are asking you about this movie, I know it gets frustrating, but to me, people win when they drag you down. Like if the proper answer is X, Y, Z, don't allow people to make you answer the question A, B, C. That's my only point. Because then it makes you look, makes you look bad even if you're not doing anything bad.
Just like when I got put on the spot and I was like, well, it should be out at this time. But I know I can't say it should be out at this time when I know there's other people who are handling it on the back end. So that's when I said, you know what? I got to stop answering that question. The movie will be out when it's out. Because every time I keep giving a deadline, if I miss it, they're just going to throw it in my face. Right?
Right. Well, see, I think most people don't have a problem with that answer, but I think
they did have a problem with that answer. Why? That's how I used to answer it. Because there was no deadline.
What I'm saying is answer the question. To me, my approach is just answer the question in the best way you can.
But I did.
And whoever don't like it, don't like it. But
I did.
think you devolve. But I think when you get to saying, well, if I rape the girl and she doesn't report it, that just becomes a deflection at that point.
When you say that, if that's how I've always spoken, you can't then say that unless I've always deflected. So then they've always followed a deflection.
That doesn't mean it's always been right, though. And that's what I'm saying. I think some of the detractors you get is because they see you as not being direct, and that's where that stigma gets attacked.
Because when I'm direct, but wait a minute, when I'm direct, I get attacked. Everything I say direct. Right now, I said something about a woman. They told me that I said, I hope she died of cancer. That's a fucking lie. They know I didn't say that. No, but I answered directly about how I felt, and that gets through.
No, you say you hope that you say she said that she had cancer, and that you don't care if she dies. At the end of the day, it was still harsh. It was still barbaric.
Thrown up in my face. Nothing I say is right,
but what I'm saying is, but you can't let people dictate who you are, though. That's like when black women say, you're going to make me lose my religion. No, you just be the person that you are, be direct, and if people don't like it, they don't like it. You gave them the best answer. But I think when you get to these equivalencies, and it looks like deflections, that's what it looks like. I know I'm not alone in thinking that. I'm sure other people think that. But, you can dismiss it if you want. I'm just, following the show.
All I'm telling you is I know, and I've been talking to you, and I've talked to you.
You don't have to take the advice.
I've been talking to you, and I've talked to you, and I've talked to you. So you just called to give the advice, and I've sit here and talked to you. I know I don't have to take it. So if I'm telling you that I've done what you ask, and if I'm telling you I'm tired,
you keep giving me the same answers, I can tell you're not processing.
So then maybe what you should, sir. So if you said I don't have to take your advice, and you could tell I ain't processing it, then what would you do?
No, because you give.
Sir, I just simple question. See, now y'all see what he told me, that if someone asks you a direct question, you give him a direct answer. See, he wouldn't do it right there. Let's try it again.
Yeah, but I didn't get it.
Here was the question again. I said, if you are just giving me advice that you know I don't have to take, and you are giving me advice now that you see I'm not processing, what should you do?
Well, I'm more than fine with parting ways at this point, but you just made a comment towards me, so I'm responding.
No, I didn't make a comment towards you. That was it. That's where I think it should stop. If you're saying I'm not processing the good advice you're trying to give, and we're on good terms, we ain't fighting, we ain't arguing. If you know I don't have to take the advice because I don't know you at all, then what will we do as human beings and males and adults? Because it ain't like we just been talking for 3 minutes. We've been talking for a lot of minutes.
Well, that's up to you. I mean, it's up to you to take it whatever direction you
Wow, so it's up to me of what direction I should take it.
If you want to say,
but the adult who's telling me how to handle things right, do y'all understand? The adult that's telling me how to handle things right, the one who's supposed to be better, giving advice, cannot take the simple advice of, well, I have been talking to this grown man for a long time. He won't listen. I think he's stubborn, and I've already told him that he doesn't have to listen to me. So I can't drill it in his head now. I've already let it be known what I think. He got to marinate on that now. There's no reason for me to keep talking to him. That's what a logical person would say. I wouldn't beat someone down with logic I think they're not comprehending.
No, but I'm not beating you down.
So why are you continuing the conversation when you just said I'm not listening and I'm not processing it? Why do you want to continue the conversation?